So guys, welcome to today's video and welcome to a very windy day here. But today we're gonna be out of the wind because we are working on the Mini, of course. Today we're gonna get started with giving this engine a full service. So I actually made a list. So this is everything that we're gonna be doing. So we're gonna be changing the engine oil filter, new spark plugs, flush the transmission with new fluid, put a new air filter in it, replace the coolant hoses because those are, yeah, I will show you in a bit. Coolant flush, replace the power steering fluid because I think this is why the pump is getting squeaky, because yeah, the fluid is taking up a lot of moisture and it's just not working as it should. We're gonna give the supercharger a full service, replace the intercooler boots. Yeah, we're gonna replace the intercooler, but I'll show you that I think in the next video. And we're also gonna be replacing the brake lines with stainless ones with braided lines, and flush the brake system with new higher temp fluid for when we go on the track. And I also got some new lug bolts because the ones on the car were rusted. So this is the initial list. We'll come back maybe if something comes. But so without any further explanation, we're gonna get started because the first thing I actually want to do is give the supercharger a full service. Now the supercharger service is something that is mostly forgotten about because the supercharger lies so deep into the engine, and Mini claims that it's lifetime oil that's in there, but I've heard on many different fora that if you don't change out the oil like every, let's say, 80 between 100,000 kilometers, you will get issues with your supercharger just wearing out. And because we have the smaller pulley and I just want to make sure that everything is lubricated correctly, I got a full service kit for the supercharger, but therefore we need to disassemble the whole front of the car. So that's actually what we're gonna get started with today. So cue the first time lapse and let's get this supercharger serviced. Now, for all of you who are wondering, I am actually following a tutorial guide video made by people who I actually got the service kit from. I will link it down below because it's really thorough in how to disassemble this whole front end and where to put the gaskets, and the kit is complete, which I will show in a little bit. But first I want to get the majority of the front off so that we can actually see where the supercharger is. So also, before you guys start yelling at me that I need to get rid of the gas on my air conditioning system, there actually was never anything on the system. It was never charged, so I'm not gonna have any issues with removing the AC condenser. And some of you might say, why not just delete the AC altogether? Well, it's just gangster to have AC in a track car. But yeah, I just want to keep it for now because I'm not going through the hassle of deleting it yet. So it's staying for the moment. So we already got the crash bar off, got the two crash arms off. So now we're gonna drain the coolant system and literally look into removing the whole front of the car so we have easy access to the front of the engine. So to give you guys a bit more insight of what comes with this kit, so you have the oil. So this kit is from X8R. Those are also the guys that make the video. So you got new gaskets, some piece of tube, another tube, some clamps. You also got the tube that we're gonna need to put the fluid into the supercharger, an Allen key, and you also get these two bolts that you can insert. So these ones here, right here, so you can actually move the radiator support forward, and that will make it easier for the next step, which is draining all the coolant. So this is gonna be a fun one, because we need to loosen up the lower radiator hose. Yeah, we need to loosen that one up, and then we will hopefully not spill all over the floor. Headbands, I think you're gonna go inside, buddy, because I don't really want you to drink some coolant. Yeah, pick your tail. Take your tail. It's so fun with you around. So guys, so here's the front of the car without any of the cooling stuff on it. Now what we can see is the car definitely had a collision here, because it's still straight. Like when I checked it, it's still straight, but it had been crunched in once. When they replaced the engine, like this piece of pipe here in the cooling system is not standard, so I hope it doesn't have any corrosion that went through the engine block, because that's gonna suck. Then what else can we see here? Well, all in all, it seems like it's all pretty clean. Just look here. So this part here behind the hose, this is the compressor, so this is the supercharger that makes all the power. So there we have the supercharger pulley, so we still need to get the belt off again, but all in all, guys, it looks promising. So don't see any like serious leaks right now, but I'm still planning on like getting the engine oil out. Like what the hell is up with this? Like look at this, the bracket for the dipstick, so this is the dipstick tube, is actually not bolted down, so that bolt's missing. Then we got some sensors. It all looks pretty clean, but our goal today is get this one off, so we still need to disassemble this whole thing, get the intake box out, remove the intercooler, get all that stuff out. So that's gonna be next on our list. So without any further ado, guys, let's get started. So today is day 2 of the supercharger service. Now my camera died yesterday while I took off the supercharger, so I actually did the rest of the service because it was getting dark off camera, but I'll give you guys a quick explanation of what actually needs to happen. So as you can see, I already put the supercharger back on the car, but it's actually pretty easy. So you have one drain plug right here on the supercharger on the pulley side, and you have one that is right about, yeah, it's now behind the water pump, but right up here. So it's 2 times actually the same thing. So you loosen up the drain plug, drain out the old oil, then on the pulley side you put in 145 milliliters of new fluid, and on the other side you put in 45. So you do one compartment at a time. So then once you put in the oil, you keep the supercharger at the same angle as it would on the car, so just keep it straight, and it will the little bit of overflow oil will just drip out. Then once it stops dripping, put the plug back in with a new seal on it, so it's a rubber grommet, and then you're actually done with your maintenance on your supercharger. So now the supercharger is back on. Already put on back the alternator and the water pump, and as you guys will have seen, I have some new coolant hoses installed from Forge Motorsports. These were supplied by, or I got a great deal on these through Mini Speed, which is a local mini enthusiast a mini racing web shop actually. So I actually stopped because I was getting frustrated with this one, because this one is a real hard ass to put back on, because you need to get this hose back on, put in the back the 2 little lines that go in the back of this, and you need to get it on here with the new seal also. It's a bit of a hassle, but also something that I'm still looking for. I don't know if maybe they missed something, but like the OEM hose. So this one was actually just, yeah, really ugly, because it was like cut here and I put a pipe in between. Yeah, this is not OEM, but you see here we have the little drain plug. So this is not a drain, a bleed plug to get the air out of the system. But as you can see, the Forge hose comes with like this little bleed pipe, but I actually do not have anything to like cap it off or bleed air from it. So I still need to look into how that works, send an email to Mini Speed, so hopefully they will get back to me shortly. So now if we come back to the list, we can actually just say that this is done, supercharger service. But as you guys can see, we already have some new issues, because I saw that the front brake discs and pads, well, the pads are gone and the disc needs replacing. Still need to fix the radio, seat belts, the battery tray, the roll cage, and also the seats. We need to finish up the seats. So I actually hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Now this is probably the least tutorialized video that I will make about this service, just because it's the link in the video description is actually one of the most detailed tutorials I have seen on doing a supercharger service on this what is this, W11 mini engine. So if you're interested in knowing step by step what to do, what to disconnect, what to loosen up, I just highly recommend watching that video. But as of next week, we will start doing like the basic maintenance and changing of fluids, so you guys have that to look forward to. But that's where I'm gonna end it for this week, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video and are excited for the next one. But in part 2, we are hopefully gonna finish this engine service. So I'll see you guys then. Bye bye.